Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is our final Shabbat of June of Pride Month, and before I usually take a little vacation in July. That's obviously going to look different this year, but definitely there will be less of me this coming month than there has been the last month or so. So thanks for joining for this very special one. I'm realizing my candles are not fully in the picture for some of you. Okay. So with that, we are ready to dive right in with our lighting of the Shabbat candles on page 120 of Mishkan Tefillah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. And with that, we welcome in the Sabbath bride with Lecha Dodi on pages 138 and 139. We sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach verse 9, I invite you, if you're able, to turn to whatever way you think the Sabbath bride is entering into your space tonight. So typically in the synagogue, we would turn around and face the front door. So if you want to go open up your front door like you would for Elijah at the Passover table, if you want to face your window, if you want to just gaze lovingly at your candles or the person watching this stream with you, wherever the Shekhinah is entering, that is where you should focus your attention on verse 9. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, ונשמה נקבלה, וחדוני לקראת כלה, ונשמה נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, תשמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו תפארת ולתהילה. לחדותי לקראת כלה, ונשמה נקבלה, לחדותי לקראת כלה, ונשמה נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו בנלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, בראשי כתם וסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לחדותי לקראת כלה, ונשמה נקבלה, לחדוני לקראת כלה, ונשמה נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באור אפולי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך ניגע. לחדותי לקראת כלה, ונשמה נקבלה, לחדוני לקראת כלה, ונשמה נקבלה. And now that we have lit our Sabbath candles and welcomed in the Sabbath bride and gotten ourselves all warmed up to pray, and we have a nice crowd tonight. Thank you all for joining. So we are so ready to segue to our evening service with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayetecho beit Yisrael, bagala, bagala, uv'zman kariv, ve'imeru amen. V'heshmei Rabbah mevarach, ve'alamol al me'amaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yinaseh, v'yitadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shemei v'kudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, tamiran be'alma, ve'imeru amen. On page 146, we come to the Baruchu. Please prepare yourself for the formal call to worship. We continue together in the English on page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzebaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 150, Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Eloheinu Adonai Eloheinu v'shafteinu v'fkamenu na'asya v'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'mitzvotecha ve'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu u'bahem nege yomam v'layla nege yomam v'layla Ve'avatcha al tasir Imenu le'olami Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael. On pages 152 and 153 is the Shema. We're going to do the bedtime Shema version tonight, which segues from Shema into Hashkivenu, which can be found on page 160. And then 160. And then we'll go back and read the Hafta in English together. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Le'olam Va'ed Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom L'shalom Mehamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim Ufros aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Ufros aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right, O Adonai. Amen. Amen, amen. Amen, amen. Amen. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you this day. Teach them to your children, Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God, who led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. Page 156. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior, who delivers us from tyrants' hands, from oppressors' hands, and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You perform miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the lands of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. Mi kamocha ba'alim Adonai, mi kamocha nezer b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefelen, Nora tehilot osefelen. Malechutecha ra'u banecha bokeya, Bifnei Moshe Ze'eli, Anu ve'yameru Adonai, Yilochel ha'pa'ed, Mi kamocha ba'alim Adonai, mi kamocha nezer b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefelen, Nora tehilot osefelen. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. And now we turn to page 162 to celebrate the Shabbat with all of our heart and soul. I want to hear you all from Woodbridge to Vienna to Brantford and Vermont and wherever else you're watching from. Nice and loud. Let's hear those woos. Page 162. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. B'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. U'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. That was awesome. I could hear you, for real. Or I could read the woos anyway in the chat. Thanks for that. So now we are in our most prayerful spirit, in our, I just leaned really close to that candle, in our most joyful, refreshed, relaxed mood to do our Amidah, which begins on page 164 and continues over the next few pages. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo v'Ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah Rab le'Hoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel Chaim b'Chesed, Mechayeh hakol b'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Nofrim v'Rofei Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato, Mishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, U'Midom Melech, Melech Mimit U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'Ne'eman Atah L'Hachayot Hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelujah selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We continue together on page 173 in the English. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Find favor, Adonai, our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants and pour out your spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, Machazir Shechinato L'Tzion. Page 176. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Shalom Rav, Vayisrael Amcha, Tassim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Vayisrael Amcha, Tassim Leolam. Ki atah hu melech Adon, v'chol hashalom. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, v'chol עת v'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Baruch atah Adonai hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We take a moment now for silent prayer. You might use the words on pages 180 and 181 of Mishkan Tefillah, or the meditations of your own heart. Yehiyu leratzon imrefi v'hegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzori Adonai tzori Megali. May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable to you, Adonai, our rock and redeemer. We turn our thoughts now to those who are ill or injured and in need of healing. As I read the names on my list, please feel free to add any names in the chat of those for whom you are praying for healing. Mary Kennedy, Rosalind Cantu, Sharon Buell, Mike Haug, Lori Perry, Nick Joliat, Bernard Strassner, Fran Warona, Ariel Batsluva, Gail O'Neill, Rhoda Wessler, Marion Finkel, Skip Cathy and Jeffrey Brace, Rhonda Butler, Ricky Grant, Shoshana Bat Abraham, Minna Dornfeld, John Manners, Michael Kumakawa, Neil Savage, Joey Jones, Juliette Arigi, Karen Kalb, Leslie White, Shirley Kronig, Rick Grossman, Sharon Foyer, and Ann Cohen, Kathy Goldstein Perdue, and Jesse Reynolds. And of course, we hold in our thoughts all those still suffering with the virus, Miriam Levy also, and all those who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit. The Mishaberach is on page 371. Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Imotenu. May the source of strength will bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This week's Torah portion is Parashat Korach, the story of a man who gathered supporters and challenged Moses' authority. We had a very interesting conversation about this in our Torah study this past Thursday. So if you're not joining us for those and you're not working at noon on Thursdays, you're really missing out. In the end, after this Thursday's Torah study, I think I came around a little more to understanding the traditional commentaries on this parsha and God's extreme reactions, but I still feel like I want to push back on it a little bit. So traditionally, Korach is seen as either trying to usurp Moses' power or as trying to subvert all of the mitzvot and the foundations of Judaism. Commentaries and midrashim expand the conversations between Korach and Moses to show just what a wicked guy he really was. But the Torah itself doesn't really show us that. It simply shows us that Korach accused Moses and his family of elevating themselves above others too much, despite the fact that all the community is holy, all of them, and the Lord is in their midst. The inverse is depicted in our Haftarah this week, which comes from the book of Samuel. The populist opinion this time is that we do need a leader, a king, and despite his own misgivings and God's explicit disappointment in the people's demand for a king, Samuel crowns Saul as the first king of Israel. And in both stories, in the Haftarah and the Torah portion, there's a theme of concern over putting too much stock in one leader. That remains consistent. So whether or not Korach and his posse were correct to challenge Moses' leadership, whether or not the Israelites later were correct to demand Saul's leadership, I think the message is clear in both the demands and the responses from God in both stories. Some form of leadership is necessary. There are people with more knowledge or skill in specific topics that make them strong leaders, while others may lack the information or understanding to make healthy choices on certain matters. Leadership is a part of the structure on which society thrives. As we've also been discussing in our Sunday adult ed classes, this is why Reform Judaism has a union and issues responsa to offer guides on living a good Jewish life, even though Reform Judaism is all about personal autonomy and not a strict adherence to halakha. At the same time, humans are inherently faulty. We all make mistakes, have personal agendas, and are likely to harm others from time to time. So we cannot put total faith in any one human leader, even if he speaks with God peh el peh, face to face, or I guess really like mouth to mouth, but that sounds weirder. So face to face, as Moses did, or even if he is tall and handsome and charismatic, as Saul was. Don't ask me why those are leadership qualities, but the book of Samuel talks about Saul's height a lot, so clearly it mattered to them. It is up to each of us to challenge authority when we think it's gone too far, and to rein in aimlessness or lawlessness when it has gone too far. We must educate ourselves and think critically about facts that face our communities and listen with empathy to the challenges that come from those who feel underrepresented in leadership roles. We must open our hearts to the guidance of the divine wisdom wherever we find it. May each of us learn to challenge the status quo a little more, and may we build democratic societies that would honor the divine in our midst. Amen and Shabbat Shalom. We turn now toward our concluding prayers. The Aleinu is on page 586. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, לגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We turn our thoughts now to those who are no longer with us in body, but remain with us in spirit. Again, as I read the names on my list, please share names with me in the chat if there is someone for whom you are saying the mourner's Kaddish. This week marks a yahrzeit for Albert Noren, Barbara Levy, Helen Cohen, and Frida Brandorf. And it's the first yahrzeit this week for Sophie Levy and Donna Thatcher. And we are still within the year of mourning for, it's also the first yahrzeit for Abraham Finkel. That's written out of order. Abraham Finkel. But we are still within the year of mourning for Deborah Freelander, Harold Herman, Nancy Holowitz, Roland Laramie, Mindy Ferenz, Moishe Deutsch, Douglas Miguel Rodriguez, Bob Katz, Roger Haug, Paula Cooper, Ernie Weissman, Doris Oleski, Sandra Lenag, David Avery, Art Rich, Jason Brown, Louis Petrozello, Gary Lyons, Dorothy Wolf, John DiNicola, Howard Berman, Jack Carton, Dorothy Goldstein, Arizona Breeding, Dana Ward. And we hold in our thoughts all those lost to senseless violence or the virus. Ed Werner, and those who die with no one to say Kaddish for them. We hold them in our hearts. The Kaddish is on page 598. Mourners and those who wish to join them may rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayev d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kodesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. 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 V'imru amen. All right, now is a good time to go grab your wine or juice, your challah or cookies, whatever you're making, kiddush and motzi over tonight while I give some announcements. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. there is Shabbat morning service, and then I will be going on a bit of a hiatus for my mornings, so there will not be likely any Saturday morning services through July, but there is still tomorrow. So if you like hearing Torah, make sure you come tomorrow. Tomorrow night, in lieu of streaming Havdalah as normal, you are all invited to join the Sisterhood Zoom virtual potluck starting at 7, which will then be followed by their board installation and Havdalah on the Zoom at 8. That link went out in the most recent e-kibbutz earlier this week, and then I sent a reminder today as well. And that should give us a nice warm-up to the annual membership meeting on Sunday. That link also went out in the earlier e-kibbutz, and then this morning, or maybe it was early afternoon. An ice cream sandwich, that's a good question, Heidi, because I don't know, the dairy changes things in blessings, but I say go for it. Make your kiddush and motzi or your ice cream sandwich. Anyway, so that's this weekend. Tomorrow morning, streaming services. Tomorrow evening, Havdalah on Zoom, and Sunday morning at 10:30, the annual membership meeting. There is no adult ed this Sunday, but there will continue to be adult ed on Sundays at 1 through July as we continue our reform values lessons. And this Tuesday is our inaugural summer series lecture with Sandra Gilman on 10:30 Sunday. Is that not what I said? 10:30. Tuesday at 1. This Tuesday is our first session with Sandra Gilman on aesthetic surgery, the invention of beauty, and the Jews and the invention of beauty. It's going to be a really interesting lecture. And then we have different lectures, different topics, different presenters. Some will be more workshop-y and some will be more frontal. You can kind of tell based on the topics. Cookie instead is a wise choice, Heidi. So just check out our calendar on our website or all of the event pages on our Facebook, and you'll see what all of the topics are. And it's the same registration link for the whole series, so you can just save the dates for the ones that you want to make sure you attend and use the same Zoom link every time. And I think that's it for now. Okay. All right, Heidi, you've got your cookie. Everybody's got their everything. All right, beverages first. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Chaim. I have a delightful summer rosé tonight. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. That came out good. I wasn't sure how frozen and reheated would taste, but it's still pretty fresh tasting. All right, our closing song tonight is one I did a few weeks back, but we haven't done it often, so it might not be super familiar to you, but I learned it last May, about a year ago. at the RAC conference, the Religious Action Center. It's by Alana Arian, and I just think it's super pretty. So I'm in this kind of mood tonight. May I be saved. May I be free. May I find space to just be. Can you hear a song? Can you hear a song? May I find my way back home? Can you hear a song? Can you hear a song? May I find my way back home? And now for the second verse. We hold in our thoughts someone who has been very good to us. Feel free to put in the chat who that person is that you're holding in your thoughts for this verse. Someone that you love very much, who has made you feel safe and cared for. And this is our blessing for them. May you be saved. May you be free. May you find space to just be. Can you hear a song? Can you hear a song? May you find your way back home. Can you hear a song? Can you hear a song? May you find your way back home. Now for the third verse, we're holding in our thoughts someone who is very difficult for us. Maybe don't put this one in the chat, but someone that you really have to remind yourself sometimes to see the divine spark and honor and be respectful. And we offer them this same blessing. May you be saved. May you be free. May you find space to just be. Can you hear a song? Can you hear a song? May you find your way back home. Can you hear a song? Can you hear a song? May you find your way back home. And for the final verse, we hold our whole community in our hearts, whether that's our geographical community, our Jewish community, our online community. If you're in some like forums or something, I've recently joined some writers Discord groups, so I guess that counts. Or even the whole world, the things that are good in this world, leaders that are doing their jobs correctly, you can offer this blessing to them. This is for everybody now. May we be saved. May we be free. May we find space to just be. Can you hear a song? Can you hear a song? May we find our way back home. Can you hear a song? Can you hear a song? May we find our way back home. Can you hear a song? May it be so that we should have a lovely Shabbat. I'll see you all in the morning. Shabbat Shalom.